Alright, with the pedestal moved, the table assembly moved out of the way, I've got a lot more access here. It's going to be real easy now for me to clean this up, and I can vac all that heavy stuff up that I scraped off. But before I even bother doing that, I'm looking at right here on the column. You can see, and that's heavy enough that I'm just going to scrape that before I do anything else. I'm going to hit this thing with the wire wheel on the angle grinder, but the more that I can, the more of this heavy stuff I can just scrape off with the scraper, the less stuff I'll have to hit with the wire wheel. And the wire wheel tends to make more of a dust, and it's nastier. So that's why I'm doing this with the scraper first. I'm just looking at the edge of the ways here on this side here, and there's a big chunk right there taken out, and there's several chunks taken out over here. That's really in kind of rough shape there on that side. And it's kind of weird because this side actually is in pretty good shape. Got a few little imperfections here and there, but I don't know what the heck was going on there. I think I'm going to take off this homemade bracket assembly on the back here that was for the motor that the guy had on there, because I'm going to have to rig something up different anyways than what he had. And it's serviceable the way it is. Actually, it's damn sturdy and everything, but it's just kind of a weird deal here. Looks like he had trouble getting in here and getting good welds on here, and you know, I don't know, I just don't like the looks of it, so I'm going to take that off. Alright, well, did some work on the drill press base. I ended up wire wheeling the whole thing. I got it up on up off the floor so I could get some boards underneath it so I could wire wheel right down to the very edge. And it actually cleaned up quite well. Most of the paint came off pretty easily, and pretty satisfied with the results. The hardest part was really just in here. I'm gonna just use a hand wire brush to kind of try and get in there a little bit better. And I'm gonna throw a coat of primer on there. Now, what I see on a lot of paint jobs on some lathes, well, not a lot, but I've seen a few lathes where people, you know, painted them to spruce them up to make them look a little pretty before they were selling them and that. And I've seen actually them paint right over the ways on the lathe. And since these are kind of like the ways on this drill press, I don't want to get any paint on them. For one thing, it doesn't look good. But the other issue is that the paint's not a good smooth surface. You want those to be nice and smooth and oiled to keep that working properly. So I taped those up with painter's tape, and then I don't like painting over any plaques like this. This is a nice little, probably brass plaque, and I might actually pay a little more attention to detail on cleaning that up at some point, but for now I'm just taping it off so that I don't paint all over it. Oh, there we go. Take my respirator off. Oh no, I won't. Too many fumes. Anyway, starting to look better already, and that's just the primer coat. And just to recap, the finish color I'm going to go with on the Sipp drill press here is this Rust-Oleum Machine Gray. Well, it's been a few days since I've been down here working on the Sipp drill press, and the primer coat looks pretty good. And just now I just removed this assembly here. This is the thing that I was having so much trouble getting off before, but now, I mean, with the gears out of the way and everything, and full access to the bottom here, it was a piece of cake to take the last bolt out. And by taking that off, I can throw this in the parts washer and scrub it up if I want to get some of this old grease off here and everything, and then get it all cleaned up and ready for priming. And I'll clean up that shaft really good so that it's nice and smooth. And then, of course, when we're putting it all back together, I'll make sure I get some grease on there so it moves nice and easily. And then also, I just, you know, I want to be able to get in here and get, you can see this paint is just flaking off. Alright, I just hit this with the wire wheel attachment on the grinder, on my angle grinder there. And then I just wiped it down with some mineral spirits. And I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to hit it with a coat of primer. Couldn't really get down into those grooves down there, But this is, when the table's inverted, that's going to be up underneath, and unless you get down with the mirror and look up underneath there, you're not even going to see this bottom part, so I don't want to get too picky about it. I did want to make sure I hit the support, the angled support parts there, because those are going to be visible. So I'll hit that with a coat of primer, and then I'll flip it over and do the top side of the table. I'm not going to prime and paint the top side, the machine surface of the table, obviously. That would be just like painting the ways on a lathe. You don't want to do that. But I do want to get the trough-like area that's around the perimeter, the opposite side of this outer edge here. It's kind of like a trough for, I think originally it was for coolant, and then I think it's supposed to drain out of that hole right there. Alright, I got the first coat of primer on, and this primer they recommend putting 2 or more coats a couple minutes apart, so I'm going to let that dry for a couple minutes and then hit it with another coating. Well, while I'm waiting for that coat to dry before I put on the second coat, we'll do a little quick flea market thing here. This was this weekend's haul at the flea market. I got a nice big hook for one of my logging chains, and I got one of these shackles, and I got 2 little spanner wrenches to add to my spanner wrench collection. These are really little ones here. I got a little rotary file, and the best thing is I got another dial indicator. This one's a Randall and Stickney of Waltham, Massachusetts. So seems to work pretty well, and other than the bezel needing to be polished or replaced, pretty happy with that. I got all of this right here for $5, so can't beat that with a stick. Alright, that's the second coat of primer, and the fumes are pretty bad down here, so I'm going on up. Well, it's raining outside. I decided I'm going to put a coat of paint on this pedestal, because I primed it a few days ago, and I think for best adhesion they recommend that you paint it within a certain amount of time of priming it. I may have actually already gone over that window, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. But I am going to put a coat of paint on it today. Machine gray. So first thing I got to do is I got to lift it back up again so I can get another drop cloth underneath it. Plastic drop cloth. I ain't sticking my hand under there. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. It's the excess chain hanging down in there. Isn't the way. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes of shaking. That should be sufficient. And of course we shake it as we paint. Occasionally. And that smell is reminding me to put my respirator on. Duh. I like this color. I can see why a lot of guys might like this color. The reason why I'm not using it on the lathes, oh god, these fumes are so bad I can't talk with the mask on. Off.
I'll talk to you later.